All right, item 2.1. I will call the Paris Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting to order at 3:26 PM. I will ask for a roll call to determine a quorum. Trustee Campos. Trustee Hall.
Here.
Trustee Stafford.
Here.
Trustee Anaya.
Here.
And myself, Trustee Garcia, here. We've established a quorum. Item 3.1 to address the Board of Trustees on closed session items only. Are there any, are there any speakers?
There are no public comments.
All right. Okay. Item 4.1, adjourn to closed session. Do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session? So moved. Thank you, Trustee Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Stafford. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Item 4.1 passes 5-0, and we are adjourning to closed session at 3:27. All right. Item 5.1, the regular board meeting of the Paris Union High School District is reconvening at 5:37 PM. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. Trustee Campos?
Yeah, so if you guys could in a minute, just take a moment of silence for a couple things. I know last year, Trustee and I had kind of recommended an idea. Had some tragedies happen with some students. Let's do something. Having the whole district, you know, all of our staff, all of our students. Our prayer and fasting just for the blessing over the whole district. So obviously we're starting off the new year and we're hoping that it's just decide to worship or do whatever that we take.
Please be seated. Item 7.1, the board president will recess the meeting to conduct the regular board meeting of the California Military Institute Charter School. The regular board meeting of the Paris Union High School District is reconvening at 6:06 PM. Item 8.1, revision, adoption, ordering of agenda, August 12, 2026. Do I have a motion? Trustee Hall, thank you. Is there a second? I'll second. Any discussion? No? Okay. Please vote. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Thank you. Item 8.1 is a 5-0. Item 9.1, report out of closed session, oral reports.
Thank you, President Garcia. In closed session, the board took action to appoint Mr. David Aguilera as Director of Facilities, Construction, and Transportation effective August 13, 2026 by the following vote. Jamie Anaya, yes. Steve Campos, yes. Edward Garcia, yes. Charles Hall, yes. And Anthony Stafford, abstention. Congratulations, David. We know you are going to do a wonderful job.
Item 9.2, district update by the superintendent.
Thank you, President Garcia. First of all, I want to welcome all of our staff to the 26-27 school year, and I hope that you had a very well-deserved, relaxing summer break. And now we are here ready for this 26-27. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you also to all of you, to all of our classified staff, all of our certificated staff, for all your support in accomplishing several goals for the last 2 years. We are very proud of you. We are very proud of what you have done, and together we have done for our students. Thank you also to the board for all of their support. These highlights that I'm very proud for my community since I started as a superintendent. Overall, in the last 2 years, 48.8% reduction in fights district-wide. In the first year, just the first year, at Perris High School, 83.3% reduction in fights, and at Paloma Valley, 60% reduction. So we are making a difference. You are making a difference in our schools. So that perception about Perris High School, and I know that is the perception. The first thing that we can do and that we need to do in order to change the status quo is to recognize the challenges that we are facing. So we recognize that situation, and then we had a laser-focused, strategic, intentional approach in order to reduce that. So that is wonderful. Thank you to the campus supervisors, Mr. Hannon, under your leadership, and working together with the support of the teachers, the administrators, for this amazing, amazing job in terms of the safety of our students. So our school, our students, they are safer. And I know that that is a big, big concern from our community and for our parents. Thank you also for the outstanding job under the leadership of Dr. Egan's for the ADA, average daily attendance. When I started as a superintendent, we had an 88.5% ADA. The first year, with your support, that was raised to 90.65%, 2.15% increase. And at the beginning of last year, we had a 94% goal. I knew that it was a very ambitious goal. I knew that, right? But guess what? All of our staff, they were up to the challenge, and we almost reached that goal at 93.22%. That is, yeah, congratulations to all of our staff. 4.72% increase in ADA in the last 2 years. And just to look at things in perspective, for every 1% increase in attendance, that is about $1.5 million in revenue. And I'm mentioning this because we are facing difficult times. And I remember, even when I was a board member, that, in 26, 27, 27, 28, our ending fund balance is going to be reduced to almost nothing. And we still have issues, right? We still have challenges, but thank you to all of that, right? To that ADA is not, that projection that it was several years ago is not happening. Thank you to my admin staff, to cabinet, to the both associations who help us also with the SERP, with the Supplemental Early Retirement Plan. Last year, we have that supplemental. We address a lot of situations in terms of staff members, and the end result is for the next 5 years, we are going to have $1.5 million in savings. That is going to be reflected also on the fiscal perspective. If you remember, one of the 5 pillars is fiscal responsibility, and we are there. working there. And to look at things in perspective, this is not criticism for the previous administration, but we need to look at things in perspective and recognize the wonderful job that the team did last year. The previous year, before I started, there was another SERP. And the yearly savings, they were $17,000 a year. Good morning, $17,000 a year for 5 years. So it's about 5 times 10 is 50, 5 times 7 is 35, $85,000 in 5 years. Now, $1.5 million per year. For the 5 years, that transfers into $7.5 million versus $17,000 a year and $85,000. So thank you for working together in order to achieve these wonderful things. And that is going to transfer, right, into our students. The wonderful programs that we have developed, the IOA, I'm so proud of that effort that everybody has put on IOA because since I was an assistant principal at Pinicari, we have Scholar Plus, right? The SSA board member for many years. The enrollment at Scholar Plus, it was about 30, 40 students. That's my understanding. Right? We started IOA in August of last year with 50 students. By the end of the first semester, we had 150. And by the end of the year, in June of 2026, last June, we have about 270 students. These are options for our students, opportunities for our students. We have a lot of students that they are in our boundaries, but they were not attending our schools. They are facing different challenges. They have a lot of in our community, so we are very proud to provide that option to our students so they can thrive and they can excel. And later on, we had preliminary results about the CASP results, but I'm not going to mention anything because they are preliminary, but in October 15, once they are released, we are going to know about how they did, how the Inland Online Academy did. The CalGETSI program. Thank you to the board also for supporting the MOU with Cal State San Bernardino. And we are working, just for you to getting your support in advance, with another MOU with University of Redlands. The objective is we started this year, last year, 25-26, at Heritage High School with a pilot program for the CalGETSI. But now the ultimate goal is that all of our high schools provide the opportunity to all the students to get 2 years, at least, at most, 2 years of college education, right? So they are capable. A lot of our students are capable. We believe in them. We trust them. Another programs that we have the mariachi program, thank you, Paris High School, and all other programs in terms of, and another ones who are coming, CTE, right? We are working on the construction program. I forgot the other one. Construction, medical, and for this year. And the following year, aviation, right? So thank you to the board also for your support because this is a team effort. Again, classified, certificated administrators and the Board of Education working together for our students. So I can see the future of Paris Union High School to be bright, right? Supporting our students and those opportunities. That being said, and after that analysis, I consider that the seed of progress has been planted, right? And I know that there is a greater future. But also, I got to the conclusion that there is a change at my personal level that I want to announce, and I shared already with the board, and probably it has been public, right? That I'm going to retire at the end of the school year, effective January 1st of 2027. Therefore, my last day as a superintendent will be December 31st, 2026. It has been a great honor to serve my community, my students, to serve you, and with your support, achieve these accomplishments for them. That's something that I wanted to do because they are my people, they are my community. All the cities around us and all the high schools and all the schools, I know that they have a great potential. And I'm very proud of all of you because you believe the same thing. And you have shown that belief with your actions. So congratulations for everything that you have in all those accomplishments, and more information about the accomplishments after the results are released in October 15. You are going to be very proud of yourself. I know that you are already proud of the work that everybody has done, but this is amazing what has been happening in the last 2 years. So thank you to the board for this opportunity to serve my community, to serve my students. I really appreciate it. And for the next 4 months, we will continue to work with the same desire and the same commitment to continue to serve you, our students, and our community. Thank you.
Dr. Rouse, I accept your notification of retirement, and we want to thank you for your service. You've been monumental, and everything you've said is 100% on point. Thank you for everything you've done for this community and this district. Thank you. Okay, moving on with the agenda. 9.3, PSEA President Jason Miller.
I walked in my classroom last week. We hadn't had any students, and I couldn't believe it. What is all this stuff in my classroom? My science orders were there before I walked in my classroom. It was amazing, yes. Christmas in August. It was amazing. In addition, into all the new changes coming in, if you have not been at Paloma Valley High School, the new digital media classroom, Mike Wilson, he's a great teacher. He got an amazing classroom. You must go there. I think it's E110. You must go there. I'm going to pressure the principal to swap classrooms between me and Mike. Mike probably doesn't want me mentioning him here, but Mike's not here, okay? So I'm very proud of the schools here, the Paloma Valley, the Paris schools. So proud that my son has started at Paloma this week. And so, Trustee Campos, you hit the nail on the head. There's a positive vibe this year. There's something a little different that has started. There have been some struggles with, a lot of the transitions, but that is to be expected. To Dr. Rouse, we wish you well as you move into the next chapter of your life. There is change in the air. We are hopeful that the transitions are smooth and loaded with employee-building enterprises. Employees are the cornerstone of this district, making sure that all the wonderful educational pieces work. The people that put students first are the ones working with them hour after hour and day after day. What will our new leader be like? I can tell you some of the attributes that educators want in a top leader coming in. To be clear at the outset, this is not to say these qualities are present or not present at the moment in our leaders, but rather what teachers and all employees need from their top leaders as a collective perspective. Experience, buy-in, people-building skills, effective decision makers, communication. Let me repeat that. Communication. Relationships with our employees. We've established relationships for a very long time, and we value and hope that whoever the new top leader is will continue that. Vision that is implemented. No flashy educational fads. Someone who knows how to prioritize. A planner. Somebody who thinks things through. Someone that does not wait until the last minute. Somebody that is for the employees as much as they are for the students. To put it all together, we need somebody who is interested in running a great district with real skills as a well-oiled machine. We do not need a hit-and-run boss who brings ineffective practices that burdens employees, then runs off to their next conference. Again, this is a vision of what works and what does not work from leadership, and not necessarily an evaluation of current leaders of the Paris Union High School District. Thank you for this time to speak.
Thank you. 9.4, CSEA President Cynthia Navarro.
Thank you, thank you. Well, good evening, President Garcia, board members, Dr. Arrell, cabinet, and guests. Well, here we are back at it, a new school year. But before I proceed with my report, congratulations, David Aguilera. I've worked with you in the past. We love you in all the different roles, and I have no doubt you're going to be great in this new role. So congratulations. Dr. Arrell, personally, I'm sad because you have supported CSEA so much. And I know some of us will truly miss you, but I do know you know there's stages, and you have to focus on what you have to focus in this next chapter of your life. So I wish you the best, truly. Thank you. All right, well, we're only a couple of days into the school year, and classified staff have already been rocking and rolling. So it's been a little challenging with Aries, the new student platform. There have definitely been some hiccups because, well, I just want to thank the technology department and several of the clerical staff just throughout the district. They've really stepped up, helping one another, resolving issues, because currently Aries is a platform of all or no access. So for paraeducators, we used to have certain access, and now, well, they can't just give you this piece, like all or nothing. So we're still working through that, so I'm hopeful. I also want to thank the district for continuing to support CSEA. This summer, 6 members, including myself, attended the 100th annual CSEA conference. 100th, you guys, that's big. Yeah, thank you. It was an incredible experience. And the biggest thing I brought back wasn't just training or approving resolutions. It was a reminder of how powerful CSEA really is. We are one of the largest labor organizations in California. We are one union, one voice, and when we work together, that voice carries tremendous impact. And that's exactly why here at the district we have CRC, problem-solving meetings, negotiations, and other opportunities to collaborate with leadership. And they're there because partnership matters. This is where I want to shift. I know our classified employees are valuable. I know the district says classified employees are valuable, but sometimes we don't feel that way. Without getting into every detail tonight, I do want the board to know that members in the Business Services Department are struggling. I've received calls from employees in fiscal services, payroll, and M&O almost daily for the past 3 weeks. The concerns are very similar. For example, frequent changes in direction, changing expectations, and very little opportunity for discussion before those changes are implemented. It's creating a lot of stress for employees who are simply trying to do their jobs well. I have shared these concerns with the superintendent, and I appreciate that you are looking into them. I simply wanted to make sure the board is aware as well, because these concerns are very real and affecting employees. I'd also like to briefly touch on negotiations. One example is campus supervisor uniforms. Yes, I have to bring it here. To provide some context, the color of the uniform has been in question, and while we were presented with the shirt and the colors last week, CSEA had been asking for this information since June. Our position is simple. If we're going to say we're partners, then let's truly act like partners. Let's communicate, let's share information, and let's respect the bargaining process, because that's what partnership looks like. And I'll close with this. Classified employees are essential to this district. Can we imagine if 500-ish of us classified employees didn't report to work tomorrow? I mean, our schools would be struggling. It's simply a reminder, like I'm not threatening, or it's just a reminder of how important every classified employee is to the success of this district. And that's not to undermine teachers or other staff, not at all. So I know tonight maybe my message wasn't the most uplifting for the beginning of a school year, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because that's who I am. Because I believe we can work through these challenges together. And I want to ensure you that CSEA is committed to professionalism, we're committed to collaboration, and we're committed to doing what's best for students, families, and staff. Thank you for your time.
Item 9.5, comments made by the Board of Trustees. Trustee Campos?
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you. First of all, I got a lot of notes here. I want to kick off and thanking our bargaining units, the president. So Jason and Cynthia, thank you guys. Number one, for your leadership. Number two, for your honesty. You know, I think for us as a board, you know, and you guys touched on it a couple times, I think that communication is extremely important. And I think that the more opportunities we have to communicate, I just think everything kind of falls into place, because thoughts that people have become expressed, and in these positions, in your leadership position, our positions as leadership, sometimes we have hard conversations, but at the end of the day, we kind of work through them, and you know, ultimately with our students and our staff in mind. So we understand that. We understand whatever issues that we have, that I'm sure they'll be resolved. You know, we'll take care of it. You know, like I said, and I think Jason also kind of confirmed it. You know, it's going to be a good year. There's a good positive vibe, and I'm extremely excited about that. I'm excited that Santa Claus came in August. You know, I mean, that's it's a great thing. I know that in the past, you know, sometimes having stuff early creates a lot of stress on teachers, and the fact that the team got that all ready to go, I think that's awesome. You know, I kind of knew Aries was going to be, you know, there was going to be issues there, and that's just learning curve, and you know, that happens with time. That'll all kind of iron itself out, because I know we have a great tech team, and James is going to make sure that all that gets taken care of in due time, because you know, nothing just happens. He's not a magician, but I know that he works hard, and he's going to take his team to make sure that all that gets implemented, hopefully with as little stress and hiccups as possible. Earlier, and Jason, you had mentioned buy-in. I had a conversation with a teacher recently, and it's an interesting concept, because we talked about buy-in, and from their perspective as a teacher, and I'd never heard this perspective, but I thought it was very insightful. They had said, well, when administrators or administration, you know, they want us to buy in, they're selling us something, and they're hoping that we buy in and accept it. And instead, you know, we would hope that they would kind of come to us, see what we want, and then support it. And so it was just a different way of presenting it. But I completely understood and agreed, because, you know, for me, you know, from my position here, we have to make decisions to make sure that everything on the ground is going, you know, the best. It's working at its optimal performance in terms of the students and the staff down below, because we know that they are dealing with real-time issues on the go every day from 7:30 till whenever that last practice or extracurricular activity starts, or ends, sorry. But I did think, you know, I'm going to share that, because I think we need to listen to that and reflect on it, and kind of, where are we at? Are we starting with us at the top, you know, pushing ideas down, or are we collaborating with our bargaining units to discuss what is it that you want? You know, how can we support you from all of our positions, because all of our positions are important in that chain of command. And so, you know, I'm hoping that with this, and I know that a lot of times that comes in with PD. I've gotten some information about this year, although last professional development, I think it was in October, there was some great things. You know, there was some things that there was some other feedback that was given, but I was very impressed with the level of professional development that was given. Everybody had breakout sessions, and I think I had mentioned before, I was shocked because I went to a PE one, and usually there's like PE, there's nothing for us to do, but they had that. There was a great interest in AI. AI is becoming very important, and we're having to deal with that, and we're going to deal with it from here on out. We can't avoid it. But long story short on that note, is I think when we do our professional development, that we should make sure that we're listening to the voices of those who are actually giving the instruction. And so I know at the beginning of the year, I know when I reported back on Monday, we had limited meetings. But the good news is, like, they gave us time to work, because just about every teacher, when they report, we know we have to do the yada yada and all the rules, and we get that. But the most important thing is time, because we all want to be prepared as teachers, as classified staff, be prepared so that when those students come through those doors, we're ready. Everything's ordered, everything's set, things are on the wall. We have all of our needs basically, or things that we need to do our jobs, ready to roll. And so, I think all that is kind of coming together, and we've been making improvements the past couple of years, which I want to thank you guys for that. That's been a group effort. Another thing that I noticed on the agenda, or one of the successes, Dr. Rouse, and I really appreciate this one, the creation of the Special Education Parent Advisory Council. The funny thing about it is we've always had one. It was CAC. But nobody knew what that was. And I forgot if it was the Community Advisory Council or whatever it was, but no one understood that affected the special ed population. And therefore, those meetings were always, the attendance, I'm not speaking here, so no judgment here, but I know where I work, those were never attended. One time I went just because I thought, hey, I'm gonna go to a CAC meeting, see what's going on. And I rolled in and there was nobody there. There was and actually one of our directors kind of mentioned, wow, this is it. We got 2 teachers from, we were kind of like shocked too. We're like, yeah, this is like, whoa, So I think little things like that make a huge difference, because then people understand exactly what that committee is about. And as our special education numbers are going up, I think this is going to be beneficial for the parents, for us to be able to serve our special needs community. So thank you for that. I know to me, I think that's very important and very, very insightful. So thank you for that. Now, and so my last thing for now, because I'm sure I'll have stuff to say later. Dr. Rouse, number one, thank you. Thank you for the past 2 years. Thank you for giving us this list, because sometimes we lose sight of what the things, our accomplishments, and sometimes we're looking at other things. We're always trying to move forward and think forward. But for you to be able to realize, hey, you know what? I've done my job. I've planted the seed, and I think that's very well said, because when we originally hired you, we had some goals, and we accomplished those goals. I mean, I remember that one of the big things was definitely attendance, and you assembled a team that was able to accomplish that. So thank you for that. And another thing, I want to welcome you, and I know it's been, or it's already happened, but I want to welcome you to the Grandpa Club, because there is nothing like it. And believe it or not, I'm still working. I got like 7 years before I can do that. But believe it or not, my goal is to be able to retire so I can take my grandchildren to school and be able to pick them up, give them ice cream, do their homework. That is like, that's it. It's priceless. You know what I mean? And so, we totally understand. It's, as you know, it's a different kind of love that you just don't understand. Talk about unconditional. It's just different. Like the kids say, it hits different. But at the same time, thank you for all that. And I think I've covered kind of everything that I needed to at this point. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Campos. Trustee Hall?
To Cynthia and Jason, thank you for everything that you guys do. Jason, I tried to write them all down when I was real quick, but I think you hit 13, right? And 4 of them that stand out for me really is the experience. Communication is huge. Relationship. You got to get out there, talk to them, right? And the vision of where we want to go and what we do. So I appreciate you bringing up all of those categories. Those are great. Again, I'm glad that, and I hope you're not the only teacher that came into a classroom with their stuff ready. So I hope that was overall, Christmas for everybody. Great, good teamwork. Way to get it done. It just starts off the day, the year with just a positive reinforcement. Like, all right, they're behind me. We're here, and that's what we're all here for. For Cynthia, you know, I love that you just lay it on the table. It doesn't have to be all, you know, wait till next meeting, then I'll lay it. No, don't sugarcoat it. Let us know. You know, and both of you guys do a really good job on doing that, and I appreciate it. That's boots on the ground and letting us know exactly what's going on and that everybody is on the same team. So appreciate that. And like something that Campos was touching on is we want to work from the bottom up. You know, we want to know what you guys need so we can provide it. Help me help you. You know, let us know what your needs are, likes, dislikes, and we try to fix it. So appreciate all that. Dr. Rouse, you know, again, thank you for the 2 years that I've been here. And your tutelage, showing me different things and how to do stuff, and focusing on what was my passion was, you know, those test scores, those D's and F grades. That could have been me. And I know a lot of my friends that were in that category. So those are my focuses, and those were your focuses. So that's what it's about. It's raising the bar for everybody. Let's get everybody to that top 20%. So appreciate your time, and you will be missed. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Trustee Stafford.
Just a couple of things. I want to say congratulations to David. You guys are doing a great job, and I know you'll continue to. I had to abstain because of a conflict of interest, because of you're the boss of someone. But you guys have done a great, great job. Anything you need, please let us know, and I'd support you and want you guys to feel that you are appreciated. Next, it'll be Dr. Rao. I've known you probably over 20 years now, and we've worked together, Pinacati, on the board, as you as superintendent. It's been great. It's a vision that really formed and came true. And everything you decided you wanted to accomplish and you set your goals, you accomplished. And to me, the facts are the facts. They prove it. And I'm just so proud of you, and I wish you the best. And I'm proud to be your friend too. So the other thing, school's open, so we know what's that involves. All the different security issues and the campus custodians and all the things it took to get ready to open school. Those things are unseen during the summer. Hard work goes on, and when it opens, everybody's back together. So it's an honor to be on the board. I've been here quite a long time. I'm kind of the senior guy, so I really felt your grandpa thing, because I think I was telling you how it felt to be a grandpa in the past. And yes, it's irreplaceable. It is. Today was McDonald's for my granddaughters. Also, you know, we have standards, and we stick to them. And we know that we want to succeed, and now we're able to find those avenues, even when we don't agree. We come to a consensus, and I want to thank the board, because we don't always agree, but we come to a consensus, and we're able to come back together and talk to each other, and it really makes the whole team works. But I don't want to say just the board, because we are the board, but it's the staff, it's the students, it's all of us. And it makes such a difference. Seeing what I walked into 20 years ago, into some schools that needed a lot of work and had issues, and to see where we are now, it's an honor to be here. So you guys have a great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Stafford. Trustee Anaya?
This is going to be, I feel it too, it's in the air, a good year. Thank you, Jason and Cynthia, for all the updates you guys give us. Obviously, we're not here day to day, so we don't know what needs to be improved, and what's working. We want to hear the good and the bad, so thank you for all the updates you guys give us. For the staff, the ADA improvement was amazing. I know Dr. Egan's had, I know you had your team, but when we interviewed her, I tell everyone the story. She was just, just regular, giving her history, and then once attendance got brought up, her face just lit up, and she's like, "Oh, that's my specialty." So, thank you guys for all the hard work, and it goes unseen, but the numbers obviously it is seen. It's unseen but seen. So, and how it translates to money for that we can give back to the students and to the staff. I'm very grateful for that. Dr. Rao, I was trying to convince you to stay longer. I appreciate you so much. I came in here lost, and I've never worked in a school district. My whole family does. I'm the only one that decided to do a different route, but I feel like you took me by the hand and you showed me what you taught me what I needed to learn. And if you've ever seen, like I can see faces when they light up, and Dr. Ross can just be having a regular conversation with you, and when he goes into teaching mode, it's just like the light comes on, and it's like a passion that he has is to teach. And I appreciate you so much, and I am grateful for the year and a half that I was able to spend with you. And you're a very wise man, and I appreciate you and everything that you've done. If you haven't heard his story, he has an amazing story of how he so many hurdles, and he just jumped, and I really admire you, and I thank you for all that you've done for the district. And I'm excited. Thank you, the board, for we agree. We learned to agree to disagree, and we respect each other's votes. And I truly appreciate the respect that we hold for each other. And I can hope that we continue this year to just a majority we agree, and the little things that we do disagree, I want to just always remember to respect each other, and us to you guys too, and then you guys too. It's just as long as we maintain respect, I know we're gonna have a great year. So thank you guys for everything, and I really pray that this is gonna be a very blessed year.
Thank you, Trustee Anaya. I wrote a lot of things down because I don't want to forget so many things, so many accolades and recognition, but I know I'm going to forget some of the things that I should be acknowledging. First, I definitely need a shout out to the deputy, that young man over there, really young man. Thank you for your service, sir. We appreciate you. Everything you do, being a first responder and putting your life on the line, we appreciate you and value you tremendously. Thank you. No, don't thank me. Thank you. I love the fact that everyone, especially actually everyone here, is working so hard to bring up ADA. And obviously we have to thank Dr. Arauz for his leadership there, but I need to thank you guys because you're doing a lot of the work. And us as the governing board, we get recognition and the kudos for your hard work, but I need to make sure you guys know we appreciate you. If I could, I'd go to every one of you and thank you all because you mean a lot. This district is coming up, and I think when we first started talking about inspiring you, you guys were like, yeah, we didn't, you didn't bite, and then we had to throw out some more bait, and then it's like we had to go fishing again, and then we had to talk some more, and then we finally got you guys. We inspired you. And the reason why we see it is because you're producing the results, like tremendously. So I want to be the first one to say, we could keep going. We could be the #1 district in California. The way you guys have so much momentum, the way you guys are motivated and determined with this drive to achieve and accomplish it all, you can do it. I see it in each and every one of you. But again, I'm going to come back to Dr. Arauz. Thank you for your leadership and guidance and inspiring them and not ruling with the iron fist, ruling with compassion and love. I really appreciate it. And ruling is probably a bad word, but leading. Thank you very much. Very much. To everyone, I need to apologize about the Aries. I heard about that, and my heart feels for you guys. But at the same time, I'm not in your shoes. But I know it's a struggle. I know technology's not perfect, but we could blame James for that. He's the tech guy. Again, thank you all for your dedication for the students. It's not us being selfish, it's us taking charge, mentoring and directing our students so they could be successful and return the investment we put in them back into the community and other lives. This summer has been very interesting for me. I got to do a lot of traveling and experiences and conversations, and I'm just so appreciative for Paris Union because there's no other place like this. We have a connection with Compton Unified. A lot of you guys know this already, but I think we're better. I really do. Like, you guys, we don't have to say, hey, what about this idea? Oh, no, we're already working on it, Mr. Garcia, or Mr. Campos, or whoever you're talking to. You're already working on it. You're thinking way ahead. It goes back to that mindset of thinking a minimum of 10 years ahead. And guess what? You guys are doing it. And I love that about you guys. Dr. Rouse. This is hard. This is hard, sir. Thank you for your sacrifices in leading the district and your commitment to bringing the best out of everyone around at PUHSD, inspiring them to keep pushing forward, to never giving up. And I want to promise you, as long as we're here, the commitment still stays. You've inspired us, you motivated us, and we will pick up the reins where you left, and we will continue with your vision, sir. Thank you for everything. And that concludes with my comments by the Board of Trustees. Moving on to item 10.1, invitation to address the Board of Trustees on non-agendized items. Are there any public comments on non-agendized items?
There are no public comments.
Thank you. Item 11.1, consent calendar, approval of consent calendar items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stafford. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Anaya. Have a good evening, sir.
I would like to make a motion to pull items for further discussion, for separate discussion items, 11:15, 11:27, and 11:42.
Can you repeat those, please?
11:15. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, sorry, wrong page.
Just point of order, Board. You have a motion and a second. You have a live motion on the floor to approve the consent calendar.
True. All right.
Okay, so, what's that?
We have a second already. So we have a live motion. We have to vote on that before we could go forward with any motion.
Okay, so can I
So you kind of,
make an amendment? A motion to amend?
There
I
can
believe you
be,
can.
the original motion maker has to agree to the amendment to that motion.
Trustee Stafford would be the original motion maker to accept the amendment of the consent calendar.
Need me for something?
Yes. Okay, so he's absolutely right. I should have thought about that. So Mr. Campos he was making a motion to pull a few items, 3 items, correct?
Yes.
3 items, and then we were corrected that the original author has to, because it's the first and second already, so we have a live motion, that the original author, which is you, and then the second is Trustee and I, have to accept the amendment which he would be proposing, or do you want to stick to the original motion?
Okay, I'm trying to.
Or do you want
And
to
so-
vote, do you want to vote on the consent calendar or accept the amendments proposed?
So prior to that, just so I understand, I guess for parliamentary purposes, at what moment do we make the motion to pull? So so once the consent calendar comes, then that's when we, okay, and I apologize, I glitched.
So Mr. Stafford,
And if so the rules are, if Mr. Stafford doesn't agree, then the motion would need to be seconded, and then it would be a vote on the amendment. If the amendment passes, then it goes through, then.
repeat that one more time?
So if Mr. Stafford doesn't want to amend, then there would be a motion to amend, and there needs to be a second, then a separate vote for that to amend and
Right.
move forward. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so you're the original author of the motion for 11.1 consent calendar. Trustee Anaya is the second. Mr. Campos wants to make an amendment. Do you accept his amendment or do you decline? If you accept it, then he makes an amendment to pull the items. If you decline, we vote on the consent calendar, but he also has the opportunity to make a motion at that point to pull or table?
Pull.
To pull.
Pull for discussion.
Go for discussion.
Wait,
Yeah, just for discussion.
pull just for discussion, but
Well,
not,
so pull them, let the rest of the consent calendar go, and then speak to, actually 15 is just a question, speak to 15, and then speak to 27 and 42 afterwards separately.
And we'll still vote on them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That sounds reasonable to me.
okay, so you accept his amendment?
Yes.
Okay, we accept the amendment, so now you have to restate your amendment.
Okay, I would like to pull items 1115, 1127, and 1142.
Pull for discussion.
Yes.
Vote on
Yeah.
it.
Only for discussion.
Well, yeah, and then we have to obviously.
gonna
They're going to vote.
We're going to vote.
Yeah, we're going to eventually vote for them. I'm just
Okay, so
pulling
you
them
want,
separate.
you would like to separate them and make them an action item then?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Put them on the action.
they're all action because.
No, it's a consent, you're moving it over to action.
is-
For a
is it-
separate
is it-
vote.
Oh, is that how? Yes, yeah, to be spoken to, yeah.
So we're clear.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
pulling it from the consent and asking to be placed on the action item, as an action item.
Yes.
Now you have your discussion and a vote. Okay, perfect.
Fine with me. That's fair.
Can you repeat the numbers to, so she knows?
15, 27, and 42.
I don't have that here. Mr. Parliamentarian, you mind coming up here, please, to assist?
And Anna, just for,
Are you, oh, we lost one, okay. We'll hold off until trustee Stafford comes back so we can move forward. I guess we'll call this an unofficial break. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. The time is 7:05 and we are reconvening. So what was left on the table was 11.1, the consent calendar. There was a motion to approve by trustee Stafford, second by trustee Anaya. Then there was an amendment proposed by trustee Campos, and trustee Stafford, the original author of the motion, accepted his amendment to remove from the consent calendar items 11.15, 11.27, and 11.42 to be placed as an action item on the regular agenda. Is that right? Okay. From this point on, are we clear on the late? Okay, did you all hear that? These items have been removed, so what we have here is what we're voting on being placed on the action. All right, please vote. Oh, wait, action, any more discussion? No, please vote. Item 11.1 with the amendment to place 11.15, 11.27, 11.42 as an action item has passed 5-0. And then that'll show up on the screen, not on paper, okay. So in the meantime, we're moving on to 13.1, general functions, quarterly, what? In the blue? Okay, wait. 12.1? Okay, and that'll be an action item? Okay. So now we're at 12.1, curriculum, agreement with Riverside Arts Academy to provide mariachi instruction and support for students at Pinacati Middle School and Paris High School, funded through Local Control Accountability Plan, supplemental and concentration funds for the 2026-27 school year in the total amount of $300,000, not the general fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Campos. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, trustee Hall. And I third? Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, so the only question I had, and it's just for lack of knowledge, was it possible to use Prop 28 money as opposed to LCAP?
I think we would have to ask Dr. Williams.
Or whoever can speak to it.
I can't.
No, I know.
No, that would be Dr. Williams or Mimi.
Dr. Williams? Dr. Williams.
Oh, I,
The question is, if Prop 28 funds could be used instead of LCAP.
yeah. Yeah,
Alpha,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Dr. Williams, if it helps if you grab one of these, it's actually 11:15. Or I don't know if you guys are seeing the same screen we do.
And it's now 12.
Now it's 12:1.
Have to determine if that budget has that dollar amount,
Oh.
before we could say yes. Yeah, and there wasn't. Yeah, because that's
Oh.
pretty large.
Got it.
That's a large amount for Prop 28.
Okay. Again, and
Trustee
that
Campos?
was all.
I want to support you on that. Mr. Parliamentarian, can we table that until we get that answer?
No.
Oh, you have the
Yeah.
answer?
No. Yeah.
No, because I want to support you. If
No,
we
no,
could-
no, they clearly answered it. I just didn't know, because if we could use Prop 28 money,
Can we?
no, they said we don't have enough. There was, yeah.
That's a very large expenditure.
Can we use part of it?
The LCAP is the appropriate funding source where it's already budgeted for the year.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. And that was my only question, so,
did you need
That's a
me
great
to
question.
stand in the mic or we'll?
no,
Okay.
that was all I needed to
No,
know.
you have a mic
I
right
just
there.
didn't know why, so just the rationale on that. So I'm ready to vote. If anybody wants
on
further discussion.
12.1?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, see none, please vote. 12.1. 12.1 passes 5-0. Next item, 12.2, curriculum out-of-state conference request for Dr. Shanna Egan's, Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, and Alfredo Andrade, Chief Human Resources Officer, to attend HYA Academy, Howard University Academy, for current and aspiring superintendents, November 13 through 14, 26, held in Montgomery, Alabama, at the Civil Rights Museum, and April 3rd, 2027, held at Howard University in Washington, D.C., funded through the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant at an estimated cost of $18,000, not the general fund. Any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, pardon me, is there a motion? I'll motion.
Second.
Was that you, Campos?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess let me preface it by saying, I know earlier Dr. Rouse mentioned some fiscal responsibility. And so in looking at this item, I wanted to kind of figure out a couple things, because I know that we dealt with this a while back, but the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant at an estimated, I know what that is, but if we at some point can come back to talk about that, because I remember from what I recall, it was kind of split between business services as well as ed services. And so just to kind of familiarize myself again with how that money is being spent. Now, here's my, I don't want to say concern, but here's the reason why I wanted to pull it. This training, it obviously is moving forward for us to select the next superintendent. It's a little bit presumptuous for us to kind of think that we're going to spend this money when we could be spending it on training for special education, security, math, or whatever. And so what I would like is for us to hold off and to basically wait. So I guess it would be a table to figure out, once we've done the search for the superintendent, should it be one of our candidates, to go ahead and then send them on to the training. At this moment, it just seems like we would be spending, and it's kind of in relation to the next item that I'm going to speak to. It's basically the same rationale. I'm saying let's be a little more fiscally prudent and kind of wait until we know who our next superintendent is, because at the same time, if the next hire is someone who has superintendent experience, then it's an expenditure that we don't need to make. Obviously, if it isn't, whether it's in-house or outside, sourced outside, it gives us the opportunity to then send them for that training. And so I just want to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible with this. An example I can kind of give, let's just say, for example, if we have, it could be any one of our administrators or teachers for that matter, and they're aspiring to move up into different levels, or I guess if it's a teacher, moving up to director, if it's a director moving up to cabinet, for us to spend that money on them to professionally grow, then it kind of sets a precedent of like, okay, so where do we stop it? So if someone wants to get their doctorate, do we say, yes, we're going to send them to, the school to pay for it, when, I believe, with the salaries, if that's something that they choose to do, to supplement or, I don't want to say reinforce, but to add to their resume, I could understand that. And doing that on the outside on their own. In this particular case, the way it's written is, there's aspiring superintendents, so I'm just a little bit cautious. Now, I'm not against it in doing it later on, once we've determined the direction and the future of where we're going with our next superintendent. But basically, that's it.
Any more discussion?
Looking at the dates, showing availability to attend.
Well, that's a good question. And that's kind of what I wanted to know is, like, at what point do we start the search? And so if we already know the date of when Dr. Rouse is leaving, we then have to make a decision on how we're going to move forward. So at that point, are we moving towards an interim? Are we looking?
I think point of order, because it's on the agenda.
What's that?
The next
But
item.
we're gonna talk about.
Next item.
Oh.
Is, 14.1.
Oh.
Any more discussion?
Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Yeah, yeah, I didn't recognize that one. I know some of the items changed between when I reviewed it during the agenda review and now, so there's been a couple things that were added that I didn't see the first time around. But, and that being said, if possible, when we're given the agenda review, if there's any changes made to it, if we could just be known or let known about the updates, because I know that when I reviewed it, and I want to say I reviewed it on Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember. It was the day after whenever it came out. I didn't realize, that I was trying to communicate to pull the items, do all that other stuff, but then when I saw the item post on Sunday, there were new items that were on there. For example, 11, well, now it's going to be 12:3, but the one that I pulled, 11:42, was not originally on what I had reviewed. And so in the future, if possible, if there's any amendments made, that we be notified. That way,
Yeah.
we can take a look at it again so that,
I agree.
we don't end up where we're at here.
I agree. Correct me if I'm wrong, were you guys not invited to this conference? You have to push the button.
Okay, so Dr. Rao approved this back in, I think,
You might have to come to this mic. Blame the tech guy.
so for these academies, they open up once a year, so we actually talked to Dr. Rao at the beginning of the year, when it opened, if we were able to attend one of these academies, because they're one-year academies, so they start in November and they end in April. So we would dedicate a full year of our time in these academies for Dr. Williams and ours. So we anticipated as a professional development, as one of our goals, to take this academy. So what we're asking for is the approval for the travel.
Any more discussion? All right, see none, please vote.
So just so I know, so I clarify, so the travel that we're looking at is approximately 9,000 per person? Well, no, it says that the discretionary block grant at an estimated cost of 18,000.
Right, and so for the academies, a bulk of that is actually the cost of the academy, just like the AXA academies. So that's the cost. It's just that the beginning session and the end session involve travel. Everything else throughout the year is virtual. And so we did apply, we got interviewed, and were accepted. And so we had to get through all that process and got our acceptance into the program. And then it's just kind of coincidental it's all happening on this board meeting. But that's why you're seeing it now, and that total is the cost of the program as well.
Were you invited to apply, Dr. Egan's?
Yes, we were invited to apply.
Okay.
And we had to wait. Was it Mackay or I forget? Yeah, it's through HYA.
Okay. No,
Yes,
I mean, I
yeah.
saw that it was through HYA, I did see that.
Right.
I just didn't know of the application process.
Yes.
And so, I guess, on that note, thank you for sharing that information. So, for me, the reality is if potentially we could only hire one superintendent. We already have two that would be seated in assistant superintendent positions. The reality that all three of them would become our superintendent is probably not likely. So therefore, I think the return on the investment is probably not to our benefit when we can use that training for other areas within the development of our staff. And that being said, again, like I understand if we're sending, like earlier, we're sending some of our HRD employees, the directors, to the trainings. That I'm okay with because they're seated in that position, and so therefore they're getting, they're learning more about their new position, but they are actually in the position. And so this, again, I have no problem with it, once we determine who the next superintendent is, and then sending them. So, because in this situation, it would be a reduction of 18,000. So if we're doing 999, it's 27,000. If one of them is selected, then it's $9,000 moving them forward, and then there's a cost savings of $18,000. And so I would be more than happy to table it to September because I see the dates and the urgency of November. I completely understand that. And I don't know, I mean, even if October were be the date, but at the same time, we would need to kind of listen to hear what's going on 14.1 to kind of get more information to then make that decision. So I would like to table it to at least September, so that we can at least hear kind of what the plan is there and kind of how we're setting that up.
I try not to speak much about this type of stuff, but I believe professional development information is necessary. And I'm not necessarily against what you're saying, but the way you pitched it made it sound like we're going in that direction, and I don't want to do that. I want to say, let's be fair and offer them the opportunity since they were invited, especially by HYA, since we use them, for a lot of business. Why not send them? We want the best employees, we want the best staff, and we want the best for our students. So if they benefit by going to this training, just like we benefit when we go to Coast or any other conference, we get to bring that back and implement that. So I'm not against it. So that's just me speaking. I'm not looking for an argument. I'm just saying my piece, and that's it.
Okay, I completely understand what you are saying, Mr. Campos, and I think I agree with that. The only thing that I just want to add for your consideration, that is one of the few PD opportunities that we have for assistant superintendents. Usually there is no assistant superintendent opportunity. And when I was looking at we can say, not the syllabus, the themes, the themes, it is applicable for assistant superintendents, relationships with associations. There are different things, and mostly that the associations mention something, right? Communication, I believe that it was one of them, and some other topics that I'm sure. At that time, when I approved that, I was not even thinking about this situation, something that happened throughout the year, right? I said, yeah, this is going to benefit them, and it's going to make them more effective, we can say, right? Not that they are not being effective now, but always there is some room for improvement, right? Since we are human beings, we are not perfect. Yeah, something to consider.
You know what?
I hear you and I understand what you're saying.
I was looking at this real quick, and it just made me think of this, because Dr. Egan said the travel. If we wait longer, aren't the fees going to go higher for the traveling expenses, especially to book flights?
I mean, I would assume.
You're okay with that, waiting and going up?
I would assume so, but what you have to understand is, I think.
I do understand, but I'm asking you a question. Are you okay with the fees going up?
I'm trying to answer. So here's what I'm saying. If the community, so I don't know if they were aware or privy to this recommendation by Mackay. We always talk about communication. There was no communication. When these items were presented, I reached out and I tried to address them. I addressed you specifically to it. And then I wasn't able, I apologize, Dr. Ross, something happened on that note. And so for me, it's just, if we have this information or it's addressed, had it been pulled when I requested it, we could have had further discussion and then at least understood what's going on, because I was not aware of this recommendation being made. And so then, and it was not communicated to anyone, or unless, if I'm wrong, I apologize. I don't know if it was in a weekly report. I've read the majority of them, but I'm just saying that this was not something that was brought to my attention. I can't speak for them. I don't recall getting any communication on the recommendation, so I totally understand. Now, to your point about the cost, yes, I do agree with that the cost may go up on that, but at the same time, if we're deciding, depending on how the conversation goes later on the direction, my guess is if we figure out what we're going to do and we decide, hey, that, most likely one for now, then we're saving 18 grand. There might be a few extra fees with the late in the booking, but at the same time, you know, usually when you book airline tickets, 14 days is usually the penalty. At this point, if we go to September, we should still be able to get a good rate. It's anytime you go under, at least in my experience, in my personal travel, and I couldn't speak to them and how they book the travel, but obviously there's still that window where it gives us enough time to still secure affordable flight. But I don't know. But I'm looking at more big picture.
I think I am too.
Yeah, well, and that's, I mean, that's, I guess, the thing. It's, you know, I'm looking at potentially saving 18 grand as opposed to, you know, spending 18 grand. And so, but again, this discussion, had it been tabled or had it been removed from the item, then when we discuss 14.1, we would have had more information. And then that, based on how that conversation goes, it would then lead to, obviously, this decision and having more information to do that. I'm just trying to be fiscally responsible.
Let me remind you where we're at, because when I approved the agenda, you had sufficient time prior to me having the meeting with the superintendent to review the agenda on your own and to say what your pros, cons, your questions, get all that answered. And this has been a standard practice since I know I've been here. I believe you've been doing the same thing. So I don't understand, after I agree for the agenda to be posted, you want something pulled.
No.
Only the president and the superintendent have that authority to do that. So we've been over this time and time again. This becomes repetitive, and I'm not trying to create an argument, but it seems to circle back that direction where you want it pulled.
I think
And
it
excuse
is.
me, I'm talking, sir. And it's bothering me because you want it pulled. If you have a question, you email the superintendent. That's what we all do. And you're the only one who puts it on the agenda, and then you say no. Or I shouldn't say you put it on the agenda. You want it pulled until you get your questions answered. But we have a whole governing body, and we're all making a decision collectively on the same information. So if you have a question, to be fair and transparent, email the superintendent, and like he does, he'll inform us, hey, there was a question by a board member, and this is the answer. And that's fair and transparent. But if there's something deeper, you know, and you do meet with the superintendent to review those items, I think we need to stay professional and consistent and do what we've been doing, rather than coming to the meeting and pulling it, and hey, surprise, I'm doing this because I want to do this. And then what we're doing is, now we're no longer, and you guys brought this up a lot, we're no longer aware and respecting everybody's time, because you guys made it very clear. Can we be more respectful of everyone's time? I'm trying to stay consistent with everything you requested. Everything you requested is how I've been operating. And I'm being fair and transparent. When there's an item placed on the agenda by another board member, I respect that, whether I agree with it or not, and that's what it is. So help me understand, what can we do collectively to make this an easier process, rather than coming up here, pulling items, tabling it, then making an action item when you already have the answers to your questions?
Okay.
Because I know you have that answer.
If I can speak, let me know when you're done so that I can then.
done.
Okay. So first of all, did I not send you a list with this? I did send you a message.
After I agreed to post
No,
the
you
agenda.
did not. That's not true.
No.
Okay, the agenda was sent. Let's speak to consistency. I've been told, and we've discussed, that the agendas are going to post on Fridays to respect Anna's time in posting that. When did we post this? Sunday, correct?
Yes, we
That's
did.
not normal. That's not consistent. That's not what we
So,
have been doing. No,
one
it's my
second.
turn now. So, okay, let me finish. So we did not post it. I communicated with you before that, expressing my concerns. I also emailed the superintendent. Now, to his defense, we had a meeting scheduled, and I was at a funeral. I lost track of time. I apologize, we weren't able to get to it. But I did send those concerns, and clearly, I believe I said to pull these items. And then, so I'm being transparent and telling you, I addressed it with you. I did. I didn't know these items were being changed and posted on Sunday. I didn't know that. There was no communication to that. Unless someone got board an email that said we're posting on Sunday. So when the agenda was posted for review, because of our past history in doing this, I take a look at that agenda probably the day after that it comes out, just because that's usually the day I don't get to it. But then I review it, and then I take a look. I read everything. I don't go fully through it, but I do read enough to give me a general idea of what I would like to then discuss, like you said, to have that meeting. And so I did. I had several that were on there, that we're still, there's some that still we haven't discussed, that we're gonna discuss. And I've expressed that. And so it hasn't been, so what I'm understanding is I'm being given options, but then when those options are given, there's no response to them, there's no action, and unfortunately, there's inconsistency. Because again, I did not, had I known they were gonna be posted on Sunday, that wasn't shared with us. For whatever reason, I don't know. But that's not my fault. I'm not the one in charge of the agenda review and sharing that communication. We've had an issue in the past with communication. All I'm asking for is transparent communication that's consistent. Because sometimes we've posted, sometimes we've posted on a Thursday, sometimes we've posted on a Friday, sometimes we've posted on a Sunday. Now, that's inconsistent.
Sir, you've been in this position prior to as well, and you know nothing is consistent. There's always information that forces a delay. Sometimes we have legal to deal with, and the circumstances change periodically. You know that. So I appreciate you bringing that up, but unfortunately, you know this is how it works. When we get the answers to an item being placed on the agenda, we'll post it. And then we do have that timeline, and you've told me we could wait till Sunday to post it many times. Yes, you have.
And I've been told no.
And you've asked me to wait, and sometimes I have. I've respected a lot of the things that you've said.
Please share a date. Please share a date.
No, I'm not
when
going
you
back and
sent it
forth
on
because you're
Sunday.
looking for an argument.
No, I'm not.
Because it's not your way. And I'm
You're
trying to be
speaking
respectful.
inconsistencies.
No, sir,
Yes, please let me know when we've posted it on Sunday.
How about
That's
I
all
just
I'm
call for
asking
the vote? How about I just
Go
call
ahead.
for the vote, because you're looking for an argument?
No, I'm not.
Can I
I'm just-
interject real quick?
Yes, please.
So when we have stuff on the consent calendar,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing Campos pull the item to have a discussion. Where I don't see the wrong in that, because we can, so instead of having like the whole consent, everything there, he pulled it because he wants to have a discussion. Just let him discuss it, and then let's vote. And that's that. He's not in the wrong. I don't see him in the wrong, because at the end, I mean, I think that's what we originally agreed on, right? If we're gonna do everything on the consent calendar, if we want something pulled to talk separate, that's our right as board members, so let him pull it, let him discuss it, and let's vote.
Okay, so are we eliminating the process for the questions and answers then?
No, well, he
Because
he
that's the
had
period
his
of time, that's why we
questions
adjusted
answered.
it prior to. But
He-
we all have the same response, the same email threads.
I mean, I think I have the right, if I have a private discussion with the superintendent, if I want to have that discussion in open session, I feel like I would have that right.
Yes.
It's a public matter, so I just let him speak his piece, and then we vote, and then we just
And
move forward.
I would like to, thank you for that, Trustee Anaya. And I would like to add one more thing that you mentioned earlier. My commitment when I was elected to this position is I'm not looking at the clock. If this meeting goes till 10 o'clock, it goes till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I don't have anywhere to go. I've scheduled my time to be here as long as possible to take care, to take care of the business of the district. But you were the one who said that we're respecting people's time. We've made it known that they do not have to be here. They do not have to be here. Every administrator here, every director does not have to be here unless there's been a directive given by leadership. And I don't know if there has or has not. But for you to mention that, you're telling me to be respectful of their time. I'm telling them right now, if you want to leave, leave. They can, if they want to. But see, that's where I think there's been some inconsistencies, because I'm not in a rush. I just want to make sure that when we're making decisions, ones that will make us fiscally responsible, uphold our oath and our duty to do what's best for student interests, in this case, it's saving money, then I feel that shouldn't take any time, or we shouldn't put a limit on the time that should take. Because we're here for the remainder of the night. I think if we go over a certain time, we have to make motions. I mean, I understand the parliamentarian can probably figure that out. But I just think when comments like that are made, you're trying to make it sound like I'm not being respectful of people's time. The only people that I have to be respectful of time is us. But I think we've all agreed that we're going to be here until we have finished and concluded all of the business, because we only meet once a month. That's my final.
I don't.
I mean, we can call for the vote, that's fine.
I did
We
call
can
for
call
the
the
vote.
question, that's fine.
Yes.
Also, Mr. Campos, and to all the board members, whenever there is a change on when we are posting the agenda, I will personally, with the approval of the president, communicate it to all of you. Because, as you know, we have done it when you were president too, but I think it would be a good practice out of respect for all of you, right? And we will let you know. This board agenda is going to be posted until Sunday at this time or Saturday, whatever day. So you have knowledge of that.
And we have 72 hours, and that's what I've always,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
we have the 72
exactly.
hours. So I know that there's room for adjustment. We've kind of been trying to be consistent on Friday, and I completely understand the law. It's 72 hours, which is fine because we posted it within that. But I was just speaking to the consistency because that's what was mentioned and brought up. But I know we're going to call for the vote, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands what we're voting on. And so I'm basically just voting to table it to September.
All right, we're calling for the vote. Please vote.
Yes for a table, no for a table?
Go ahead, Anna.
That was the first motion, right? So I'm taking it off the consent calendar, correct?
You clarify that, it's important.
Okay,
Can I
so-
say something?
Sure.
When I first saw this, of course, the dollar amount jumps out at you. I don't care much for HYA sucking us dry. Every time you turn around, there's a conference or they're traveling somewhere. But I feel we should support our assistant superintendents. And this is a commitment they are making to go through this academy. The district will benefit no matter what because they will all have the knowledge. So I wouldn't want to pick anyone out and say, you can't go, you're not going to be subsistence soup, you're not going to be, like you're forecasting who, you know, that's not right. This is a long-term commitment, so I understand the pricing of it because of it, the distance and the time. So I think it should be an easy vote that we should be able to take and support our assistant soups. And that's just how I feel about it, so I just wanted to say that.
So just clarify again one more time.
What is the meaning of a yes vote?
Yes to approve.
Yes. Go ahead, Anna.
So if you vote yes, that means that you're approving for Dr. Egan's and Mr. Andrade to attend the conference, and then if you vote no, then you're against it. Or
So
not
now,
for
is it possible to make an amendment or no? Okay.
Call for the vote.
I appreciate the discussion, by the way.
Item 12.2 passed 5-0. Item 12.3, business out-of-state conference requested for Dr. Marguerite Williams, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, to attend ACSA, Aspiring Superintendent's Academy for Women's Leaders, February 23rd through 27th, 2027, at Georgia World Congress Center in Atlanta, Georgia, funded through the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant at an estimated cost of $9,000, not the general fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Trustee Stafford, and I'll second it. Garcia. Any discussion? Any discussion?
No, and the rationale for the previous one was the same. It was just the same, so no need to rehash that.
All right, please vote. Item 12.3 passes 5-0. All right, item 13.1, general functions, quarterly uniform complaint report summary for April and June through June 2026. 13.2, discipline, summer school 2026 monthly suspension and expulsion report. Action items, general functions. 14.1, consideration and discussion regarding superintendent selection process. Do I have a motion to consider and discuss a superintendent selection
I'd like
process?
to make a motion.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to make a motion. Okay, you can finish reading. I guess.
No, go ahead.
Okay. My motion is to, this consideration process should be internal and not through a consultant. I think we could do this internal and get it done. So I'd like to make a motion for that.
Okay, I'll second it. Let me write that down, 1 second. Trustee Stafford. You said to make it internal?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes, so a couple things. Number one, I would prefer to go with an outside agency, with HYA, because we're already paying, that's part of the services that we get with their contract. On the other hand, if there's anybody on our cabinet that is going to be applying, I don't know how, what would we do if there's a conflict of interest, or how would we then go about that process? And also, I would like to find out when we're going to do the search. Are we waiting? Are we doing the search now? Because we know that the school just started, which is understood. But if we put the search in motion, then we know the timetable of when Dr. Rouse is leaving. We could, at that point, already secure a superintendent with the intent of letting them carry out their contract. In the meanwhile, once Dr. Rouse is gone, we can put an interim in whether it's within or outside. It doesn't matter. That means, because we did it kind of like with Joe Williams, kind of the same thing. And so what I just want to know is, how is all that going to happen? Because if it's internal, if our cabinet members are the ones being involved in the process, it makes it kind of a little complicated. Because as a staff, Alfredo works with them all, as opposed to having an outside agency who works with them but not on a daily basis. And it just kind of gives a little bit more leeway to kind of just have no biases in that sense. But at the same time, it doesn't negate anybody on our cabinet from applying, as opposed to if we had all three, let's just say they all three applied, and Alfredo wanted to put his name in the hat. Would he conduct the interview process? I don't know. Who would be? He's our CHRO. So I don't know then, what do we do? And so for me, I think the common sense approach would be to use HYA, because they already are under contract. We've done searches with them before in the past, and I think it just makes the situation less complicated. But I'm open for other options, because I'm trying to look at the big picture and allowing everybody to freely apply, to also allow outside people to apply. I just don't know how we can do that with this current situation of us handling it internally. So if anybody can speak to that and has a better idea on how we can do that without unqualifying or not allowing someone from our staff to apply, then I would love to hear it.
I've never hired, but this is my first time doing anything like this when it comes to superintendent hiring, and I know that's a big role of ours. So I would like a consult. I would, just to kind of help in the process. I know you guys done it before, but I haven't. So I would just, for me, I would like someone kind of guiding the process, not removing, especially if we were already paying them for that. That's just my.
So yeah, who does the interviewing?
So wait, you're telling me now we're involved in that hiring process of doing the interviews? Because I've been told we're not supposed to.
We did that.
Be doing that.
No, we've done that in the past.
We did that with a consultant. In this situation, what he's asking is not a consultant. He's basically asking Alfredo.
Were you part of the last?
Yeah. Well, which one?
When we hired Dr. Rao.
Yes.
You know how hideous that was?
No.
And all the bumps in the road?
I don't.
Hideous, like with the console, or what?
It just went on, and it's hard to explain. But I've been through the process, and I don't think you need, if you hired someone other than HYA, then that might be acceptable, but not, I've been through it with HYA, and I don't want to go there again.
Well, I'm open, I mean, I think we should be open to, I mean, that's something, the only rationale there is we're already, that's part of the consulting cost. It's baked in the cake, if you will, but at the same time, I'm not opposed of using an outside agency.
You do realize we can just appoint if we want to.
So let me bring it back here, guys. Let me bring it back. The motion was to go through internal candidates. So we could, hold on, yeah, pardon me. So we could approve or deny that right now, and then after we get to that point, we'll obviously have to discuss that in closed session of the process. So right now, the motion is what you would like to do. That was the motion brought by Mr. Stafford.
I heard,
Oh, hold on. I'm going back to the motion and bringing it back. We're talking about what we would like to look at first, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the process yet. Once we decide if we do internal or external, we still talk about the process, okay? We could get to that point later, but right now, the motion is he wants to look internally. So we vote on that. So any more discussion on voting internally?
I heard vote internal with no use of consultant. That's the no use of I'm all for internal because I feel like there's already a momentum going and our team is strong. Somebody in this team I know can do it. But my objective to that is just not having a consultant, just because I've never done this before, so.
That's the process which we would get into after we
Okay,
do the
'cause
vote for the motion.
When he read the motion, he read no consultant, so that's why I want to make sure I'm not voting on the no consultant part.
Okay. Do you want to reiterate your motion?
Well, I think I did when I said to Steve, I would agree with something.
I have a question on the motion. You weren't done talking before he already made his motion. So is that legal?
Say that one more time?
You weren't even done reading it, and he already made his motion. You weren't done complete.
But I didn't call for the motion.
No, you were still reading, and he's like, I'd like to make, I motion it.
So he made a motion, then you continued to finish,
Right.
No.
and then asked for a second.
I said,
Prior
do I
to-
have a motion to consider and discuss the superintendent selection process? And then he changed it because he made a motion that he wants to go internally. Now, I didn't hear the part about a consultant or not. That's why I'm referencing Anna right now, what she captured. Okay. So let's go back to the motion and we'll vote on that. And then if we have to later on, which we could schedule it for the next meeting, closed session, we will talk about the process. And then from there, we'll let the public know of what our process is, what we agree on and what we disagree on. Not even what we disagree, what we're going to do,
So I just want,
voting on the motion.
no, I understand. I want the clarification. So I understand that we are moving to use internally our staff, which is
Negative.
Alfredo and HRD.
Negative. We, in the meantime, just like last time, the board is in charge of the hiring the superintendent.
But his motion is for us to do it internally. So who does our
I believe,
internal,
were
who
you
does
talking
our
about
internal hiring?
candidates or internally as in the district?
Internal candidates.
Okay,
Oh, because
Is what I-
okay,
I understood
could see the
that it was
confusion.
using
okay.
the
Now that's
internal
clear.
staff to run.
Oh, no.
No,
No,
yeah,
and-
that
and
didn't
so
make any sense.
That was my point of why I said then that would actually
Okay.
cancel out someone. And I didn't want that. I want to be fair. And so in advocating for our internal candidates, that's what I was asking. That's why I wanted clarification. I wanted to make sure, what are we talking about here? Are we saying that we want to do the hiring process internally, which would be the HRD department, right? As opposed to the actual candidates. So, and that's the but see, I misunderstood that because I thought he was saying the process, which is why I said then that would cancel out some of our cabinet members from the process, because if they were doing the hiring, they can't hire themselves if they applied, and that's assuming there's an application process. You know what I mean? So that was I'm glad we got clarification, because I think on the vote, had we voted, I think we would have been voting on certain things that we didn't understand. But I clearly understand now what we're voting on.
All right, so going back, calling for the vote. We're voting on the motion for internal candidates. It's a yes or a no. Call for the vote.
Wait, no, internal candidates, meaning we're not going to do an outside search as well and allowing internal candidates?
No.
Or is it just only internal candidates?
Right now, the motion is what he said, internal candidates.
Only? So we're not
That-
flying it?
One moment, please. That's what he's saying right now. After we get this vote, we talk about the process. You know it could change later down the road. Right now, we're addressing the motion.
Well, I'm just saying, we've never done it this way, so.
I know we
So
haven't.
what it sounds like is we're moving towards an appointment process and not
No.
a hiring process.
No. He just made a motion to look internally first.
Wait, so who's going to look internally? Is it us, the board only, and not using consultants?
That's what it sounds like at the moment.
Is that, Tony, is that what you want?
I agreed if you wanted to use someone else other than HYA, that's something we could discuss.
Yeah, and I'm open for that.
But that's the process. Right now, we're trying to vote on the motion, bringing it back to the motion.
I'm confused.
So it's a-
I'm really confused. Because
Can, or consultant, no consultant, motion,
Will-
internal?
Can trustee
hold
Stafford
on.
repeat his motion, please? And I think that will clear it up.
Okay. I make a motion that we select our candidates internally for the job of superintendent.
No, because that's the process.
So I won't.
Right,
we
which
can
would be
still
in closed
determine that.
session.
I mean, it could
Right,
go
so
either way.
we're back to the motion where I was at. So I'm calling for the vote, please.
So it is recommended that the Board of Trustees select an internal candidate?
Yes. And then when we discuss the
sorry.
process, we
No,
could talk
I
about
understand.
timelines and everything else.
Are we voting?
So, just to clarify, I just want to make sure, a yes vote means we are only looking at internal candidates and not looking at external.
Yes.
Okay.
Item 14.1 passes, 3 yeses and 2 nos. Where we at? Okay. Right, moving on to 14.2, personnel. Declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2026, 2027 school year. Do I have a motion? Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Stafford. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Item 14.2 passes 5-0. 14.3. Waiting for the computer to catch up here. Approval of short-term assignment clerical support for the 2026-27 school year. Do I have a motion? Thank you, trustee Hall. Thank you, trustee Campos. Any discussion? Please vote. Fourteen point three passes 5-0. 14.4, consideration approval of superintendent salary schedule. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Stafford. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Any discussion?
Yes. Oh, yep, go ahead.
So I know that this one kind of has a twofold. And my understanding is this would go retro back to the beginning of the contract. Now, my concern is, again, fiscal responsibility. And again, you have to understand, I think the timing of this is kind of, I don't know how to say it, but the optics look, I've gotten some, on Sunday when the email went out, I've gotten a bunch of different email communications, or not email communications, phone calls, whatever. And so my concern is, and this was one of the items that I sent in to kind of discuss, to not have this discussion here, to table it and kind of move forward in the understanding and the communication part. And it has nothing to do like with Dr. Rouse, but I just think the fact that on his way out, and I know it's not a SERP, you know what I mean? Because a SERP, my understanding is that I don't think cabinet members can, and we're not proposing a SERP, right? That's obviously not it. But it just looks like on the way out, we adjusted the schedule. And it's kind of, it just looks, again, the timing may be off. Now, I did email, and it was, blind copied so that we couldn't communicate. But I did email, I believe on July 12th. There were comparables from neighboring districts. I do realize there was a report given, and with that report that was given, it was kind of scattered all over the place. In terms of and it was, to be fair, the report was for cabinet members, and obviously the separation of superintendent and then cabinet members down below with the assistant superintendents. That being said, the reports showed that there were different school sites being chosen for the different positions. So in other words, for the superintendent salaries, we might have used, school districts X, Y, and Z. So 3 different districts. But then for the cabinet down below the assistant superintendents, we used A, B, and C. And so we weren't comparing apples to apples. We were comparing apples to oranges. And the reality is if we were going to look at a comparable, it should be comparable consistently. So either, these are the districts and they were all there. Now, I did, and a lot of the districts that are here locally in our community were not in those, in that report. So I had done a little bit of research and sent out some information. And I don't know if you received it, I don't know. But I kind of showed the range of where they were at for neighboring districts who have larger populations. They're K-12 districts who were making less, would be making less than what we're paying at half the size. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that, paying our cabinet members, I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. But I also don't want to set a precedent of paying more than what we have to. I think that we are a very, number one, for our size district, we pay very well. It's from what I've heard through different people going to different conferences, to AEC, just in general, talking to a lot of different people. And we are always told, hey, you guys pay really well, up and down, classified all the way to the top. And, in Riverside County, we're fortunate because we have the highest certificated salary schedule. And I think that's important because that attracts and retains staff. And so I know that that is extremely important. Now, I don't know if I can say that for classified or the other members, but I have been told by several different people that we pay very well. And so for me, in approving this, what we're doing is we're increasing our current superintendent's salary on his way out, and then we're setting a precedent for the next superintendent, of which we don't know. We don't know the qualifications. It's just like an automatic pay raise for whoever is the next person to take that role. Now, personally, I think that is not being fiscally responsible. Again, this is something that we could obviously continue to discuss and kind of figure out how we're going to do that. I have no problem having that conversation. Again, this is one of those things where I think more communication would probably be best. Now, when I did say, to be fair, When I sent that information out, I did not get one response from a board member, not one. If you did, please let me know, because I apologize for not reading the response. And I just sent it as just information only, so that when we come to this decision, should we have to make it, I just had extra data that was given so that we can make an educated decision on the information presented. And so that's where I'm at. And again, this is something I have no problem tabling, down the road. I mean, that's fine. I just think right now it's, the timing of everything is kind of weird. And so I don't know if anything else to share, but I guess that's probably enough.
No, I seen your email, so I didn't respond because I agree with you. We have to be fiscally responsible, and with the retro on that. So are we making the best decisions? Had nothing to do with Dr. Routes. It is setting, we don't know what we're getting next. We got to be responsible. The timing is horrible, just like Mr. Campos said. And to retro, something that we probably should have done this a long time ago then, of setting it up before this happened. So we have to be responsible people. That's all.
All right, calling for the vote. Calling for the vote.
So call to question, proper term.
Item 14.4 passes, 3 yes, 2 noes. 14.5, personnel, consideration approval of amendment to contract of employment for superintendent. The superintendent contract term remains valid through June 30th, 2028 as part of the realignment of the superintendent's salary schedule and retroactive. Did I miss that? No, okay. And retroactive to July 1st, 2026. The superintendent's annual salary will be $332,140.24, which is placement on step 3 of salary schedule. The superintendent will receive the following fringe benefits: district health and welfare benefits, payment into membership into professional organizations, car allowance of $500 a month, life insurance, vacation days accrued at the rate of 2 days per month, 12 days of sick leave per year, reimbursement for business expenses, etc. Do I have a motion?
Can I make just one thing? I'm not getting health and welfare benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
Did you call? So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Stafford. Is there a second?
Hang on. Oh, yeah, you can do it.
So do we have
Is
to
that a
make?
second?
I think Tony.
I made a motion.
Oh,
I'll second it. Any discussion?
okay, so I just want clarification on what so he just said that so now I see the salary, but there's no benefits, and you said there was benefits. So that's not included in so the salary is just strictly salary, and there's no other.
There are no health and welfare benefits. Yeah, medical insurance, dental, nothing like. Oh, yeah, dental is by law, we have to get it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Any more discussion? Please vote. $14.5 is a 4 yes and 1 no. 14.6, approval of revised job description and title change from Director of Online Learning and ADA Recovery to Director of Educational Services and authorization to recruit. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Is there a second? Thank you, Trustee Anaya. Any discussion?
Yes, so this is another one. So I would like to make a motion to table this item.
We have a second.
Oh.
If you would beat the first and second, the first.
I'll second it.
It's already second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so then just speak to this motion and then see how it goes. Okay, so again, going back to fiscal responsibility, so the only concern that I have with this one is prior to this being put out, I have made several requests to either have a special board meeting to discuss or to have a meeting prior to this being put on the agenda, because the job description has been changed multiple times. You know, it's been specifically, in one of the job descriptions, it almost seemed like it was specifically made for a specific employee. Then things kind of got shifted and it's been changed. I want to say this is the third time that we've done this. Again, there might be that need, and I understand that. But I have requested via email that we have a meeting, a special board meeting, to discuss the personnel, because I have mentioned that, you know, in the job description that I've read and I've pulled, there seems like there's some overlap. And so I just, again, wanted to be fiscally responsible in having that meeting and discussing kind of who does what and where. That being said, because I have a few questions about, and I know we recently got an organizational chart from Dr. Egan's, and then we got one a while back, the big ones, the big charts that kind of had all the different positions there. But again, in my reviewing of the job descriptions, it seems like there's overlap. When we look at the special populations, Paris Lake, and by the way, you know, some of those job descriptions need to be updated because the people that are in those positions are no longer doing that job. They're outdated. And I don't want to give examples because obviously that's something I've wanted to have a conversation about. And pushing this off, and once knowing all the pieces to the puzzle are all laid out, then I could say, okay, well, you know, this is what we're doing. Okay, this seems like the right move. You know, we can do this and go from there. That has not happened. And so, I mean, I have questions kind of like, okay, so if we have a comprehensive high school, and let's just say, for example, that comprehensive high school, on average, we're going to say 2,000 students, you know, has a principal, and I'm not even 100% sure if it's 3 APs or 4. I'm not 100% sure, but that's at a population of approximately 2,000, give or take, on average. When I look at PALS, Paris Lake, and again, I don't know 100% the numbers, but I'm assuming that the population is probably, and including IOA, I'm assuming that the population is probably less than 1,000. And yet we have an equal amount of administrators overseeing those programs that we do at a regular comprehensive. And so to me, that's something that just needs to be looked into, because they're getting the same support that the comprehensives are, but the comprehensives have twice as many students, they have twice as many parents, twice as many staff on both sides, certificate and classified. And so, you know, in order to make this decision for me, a fiscally responsible one, I would like to have that information. Obviously, right now, at this point, I keep forgetting when I could motion to table. I just got to be quicker. But I understand it's a learning lesson. But that's pretty much where I'm at right now, just in not understanding all this stuff. And I will say this. I've done my due diligence. I've read, I have the job descriptions in my bag because I've read them. But I've been wanting to have a discussion that I've sent to the superintendent, that I've sent to the board members prior to this meeting, prior to this position, and putting this before us today. So again, communication is kind of lacking. And I think if we communicated better and, you know, we kind of responded or kind of figured out how we could do this, I don't think we'd be here in this position. But unfortunately, we are.
All right, thank you.
So I asked to put this back on, and I completely agree with you about the positions, and we do need to have workshops on them, and I've had discussions with Alfredo on how we can make that happen with the convenience of time, and I know we had kind of dates, and I would like to just have an overall workshop annually to see what positions are working, what positions are not, what positions they would like to see, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of like I'm working on it, and The school year already started, though. The reason why I agree with you 100%, but I asked to put this on back specifically was because I saw the ADA recovery dollar amount that came back, and there's no denying that something they're doing is right. And if they're advocating for this position and it's showing that it's bringing back, it's a big revenue, I don't want to stunt the process that they're doing, because I know just as an employer, if I'm doing something good and I keep getting halted on the progress of what I think needs to be done, I would be discouraged. So I just didn't want to discourage the process, and there's a ball in motion, and I would love to continue to see that ball in motion. But I completely agree with you on, for future, we need to have like annual workshops, and we are talking about it. I just think we're not maybe aggressive enough with it. That could be an issue. We can definitely become a little more aggressive. The school year is going to start now. I was looking more towards beginning of the school year, or like right before the school year, and then right after the first semester school year, like 2 workshops for sure, set in stone type of deal. But again, we could talk about that another time. But I just wanted to give you why I don't want you to think that I kind of overwent what you want, because I agree with you. The only reason that I wanted to see this back on here, and just to keep the momentum going, because that ADA recovery was a lot of money that is going back to the students and staff. So, and I really appreciate seeing the numbers and the growth. So obviously something they're doing is right. We're not there, we're not in the field with them, but obviously something they're doing is working. So I would love to see that continue.
Well, and so I completely agree. And I guess from my perspective, the job descriptions that are out there now, they're specific to that particular job. In other words, I commend our staff for fulfilling their obligations that they were tasked at doing. When they were tasked at doing that, they were all tasked with that same contract. And in this case, they did their job, and that's appropriate. You know, obviously when we do our job, we do our job. That's what's expected of us, because that was, when we hired the superintendent, that was the task at hand. He assembled a team, they did it. But that was the job that we hired them to do. And so, you know, when we hire people to do their job, that's the expectation. Nothing would have changed outside of a title and now more money. But I just don't understand why we're spending more money for a position that we already had. And maybe it's not a significant amount, but, you know, I think there's like a perception as to who the next person is going to be and the hiring process, and that there's all that. We've gone back and forth on it. And that's why, for me, it's just like, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, whoever gets a job, fantastic. All I'm saying is we basically, the team that was assembled to do that under a different title accomplished it. And so I just don't know if that's like, do we keep, you know, someone, we hire them to do the job, they do the job, and all of a sudden, you know, we create a position for them to add a title. I don't know. I mean, that's, you know, every year I'm a PE teacher. I do my job, and guess what? The next year I'm a PE teacher. They don't say, oh, because you did your job, we're going to make you, you know, executive director of PE. It's just, I'm PE, and I keep going, and I keep continuing on with my job, because that's the job that I signed on the dotted line for. And so again, I'm just trying to be fiscally responsible.
Yes.
I just would like to add something. I can completely agree with you, Mr. Campos. If, like in my case, I was hired as a superintendent and I presented the goals and everything, right? But also I can see what Dr. Ms. Anaya is saying. The only thing here, and I would like Alfredo, Dr. Egan's, and Dr. Williams to help me, is that position who accomplished that ADA was not hired for that, right? So now we are creating the position specifically for the ADA. It was not the expectation from that position to accomplish this goal. So that's the only thing that I would like to, and I don't know, we cannot mention names, right, because this is personnel. But the gist of this is that the position, that position, that staff member who was there, didn't need to do that. Right? It was not expectation. I completely agree with you in terms that expectation, you're just doing your job, right? Like in this case, if we have the director is going to, your job is going to be, and the expectation is increase ADA and things like that. They do it, why are we going to reward that person for doing the job, what they are supposed to be doing, right? But in this case, but in this situation, that was not the case. Yeah. So the staff member who really supported this process of increasing the ADA was not the expected outcome in responsibility. Even the responsibility is an administrator. Yeah, and we have an option to reconvene in closed session, and I can go in more detail. But I think you understand. Yeah, but I can see what you said. Completely agree with you in terms of the expectations. But in this case, that was not the expectation.
And so to your point, that's exactly why I was the organizational chart, because again, we have some job descriptions where those employees are no longer doing what they were supposed to, what their job description says. I've reviewed them. And so obviously that's something that we do need to clean up internally, because there are positions that we've taken someone over here, move them completely this way, but when you look at their title and their job description, they're so far removed from the original position that they were given. And I have examples. I just can't share them with them now, right? You know, I wanted to share that information, and I believe actually I did in an email. I did kind of share some of those examples. And so all I'm just asking is that we just kind of tighten up on certain things to avoid this type of situation, because, you know, there could be potential overlap. There might not be. I don't know. I just want to know, you know, is there not? And everybody, we understand clearly their role. And then, you know, when they're asked or tasked to do that, that it's understood, hey, this is what you're going to do. So then all we have to do is change that title to put it into the current position of what they're doing. Because I do agree, it's not necessarily fair to our administrators to say, hey, you're going to do this, and this is what, you know, we bring to the board. This is what your job title is and what your expectations are. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're now doing this, you know, because this happened and this. And I understand that. I don't have a problem in doing that as long as we're being fair to that employee and then saying, hey, now your position is this. And so that way we have the position on the books. It's clear, it's a clear understanding of what they're doing, as opposed to kind of being out there like, oh, what do they do? You know, oh, you know, that's what I'm trying to avoid. And so, and I did express that. And so, but again, here we are. So.
All right, call for the vote. Item 14.6 passes, 4 yes, 1 no. 14.7, curriculum resolution number 0526-27, public hearing and resolution for pupil textbook and instructional materials compliance regarding Williams Act material sufficiency for fiscal year 2026 through 27. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing regarding pupil textbook and instruction materials sufficiency and compliance with the Williams Act for fiscal year 2026-27? Is there a motion? Trustee and I?
Second.
Trustee Stafford. Thank you both. The public hearing regarding pupil textbook and instructional materials sufficiency and compliance with the Williams Act for fiscal year 2026-27 is now open at 8:19 p.m. Are there any public comments?
No public comments.
All right. What's that? The public hearing regarding pupil textbook and instructional materials sufficiency and compliance with the Williams Act for fiscal year 2026 through 27 is now closed at 8:20 PM. There is a motion by trustee Anaya and second by trustee Stafford to adopt the resolution number 05-2627 pupil textbook and instructional materials compliance regarding the Williams Act material sufficiency for fiscal year 2026-27 pursuant to Educational Code Section 60119. Please vote. Item 14.7 passes 5-0. 14.8, business resolution number 0626-27, appointing 4 members to the Paris Union High School District Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Trustee Campos? Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Stafford? Any discussion?
Yes, so I have one question. I see that we have 4 members. I didn't know how to ask others to be a part of it, because it's a Google Doc, and sometimes I know that if you forward a Google Doc to somebody, they need permission to open it up if they don't have access to it. So I just don't know if we need more, and if there's a process of how, I don't know how many we need. And so I know that there was a lot of categories, like a lot. And I would like to send some to some people. I just didn't know the process on how to do it. Because sometimes I'll share a Google Doc with one of you guys, or someone shares it with me from within, and I can't open it, I need permission to do it. So I just don't know how that process works, if that could be clarified.
Testing, can you hear me? Anyway, we need a total of 7. We're replacing the 4 that either resigned or moved away. So at this time, we have all of the candidates that we need, and we send it out through Parent Square to our entire community of parents. So we have the appropriate number that we need at this time if the board so moved to approve these 4.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please vote. .8 passes 5-0. 14.9, business authorization for purchase orders above $50,000, August 2026. Do I have a motion? So moved. Thank you, Trustee Hall. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, take Jamie.
You?
Take Jamie.
Who? Okay, Trustee Anaya, thank you. Any discussion? Please vote. .9 passes 5-0. 14.10, authorization for purchase of capital equipment above $10,000, August 2026. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Trustee Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Stafford? Did I hear you in the background? Any discussion? Please vote. Tony? .10 passes 5-0. Information items 15.1, business revolving cash report, July 2026. 15.2, board policies, community relations series 1000. 15.3, board policies, business and non-instructional operations series 3000. 15.4, board policies, personnel series 4000. 15.5, board policies, student series 5000. 16.1, closed session if necessary. Do we need to adjourn to closed session? No?
President Garcia, can I just add one thing on the board policies? Just to
We're on
kind of,
16.1.
I know. Oh, okay, so all those, okay.
Do you want to wait till comments by trustee? Yeah. Okay. Okay, write it down, please. Okay, so we don't need to go to a closed session. Moving on to 18.1, discipline, board review of discipline matters. Do I have a, 1 second. Okay. 18.1, discipline, board review of discipline matters. Do I have a motion? Trustee Hall? Is there a second? Thank you, trustee Anaya. Any discussion? All right, please vote. Item 18.1 passes 3 yeses and 2 noes. 19.1, other items by the superintendent.
Thank you, President Garcia. I don't have anything except one. You were asking about a special board meeting to go over some concerns that you brought up. If you can share with us some potential dates right now so we can make it happen.
Special board meeting to report concerns, or do we want to be closed session? Is it confidential? And what is it about?
Parliamentarian, can you help me?
Depends what the matter is.
Yeah, it's just the dates that you would be available.
For the
So,
workshop or?
Concerns,
for your request,
for his concerns.
yeah.
I'm pretty much open anytime after approximately about 3:34 only because, but if it can be special, I mean, obviously I can take time off, but I want to be respectful because I know his time and her time, and ours is kind of similar, but I know they usually have longer hours. And so I'd be more than happy just in any time after
After,
5 o'clock or just, I don't know how long
okay.
it's going to be or the discussion, or if it'll be on a weekend. I mean, I could look at my calendar.
What time in the afternoon, Mr. Hall, would you be available? After what time?
Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock, between 3 and 4 is good.
Anything after 4?
Anything before that, it's,
Oh, before 4?
no,
After 4?
after 3.
Anything after 3?
Anything
What-
after, yeah.
Okay, what about you, Ms. Anaya?
If you give me a 3 weeks notice, I can request a day off or anytime after
Okay.
5.
Tony?
I can't commit to anything right this minute. My schedule changes.
After 4? Because I know that you have commitments at 2 or 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm in a situation right now that I can't
Okay,
determine right yet.
okay.
Okay.
Sounds
But
good.
if you guys come up with some dates, I could, I
Okay.
could try,
So we are going to ask Ms. Festner to send some potential days, and you can tell us if you are available. But if it's in less than 3 weeks, Ms. Anaya, anytime after 5 p.m., 4 p.m., we adapt, as long as we are satisfying Mr. Hall's needs also.
I have if it's a 3-week notice, I could take the day off. And if it's not a 3-week notice, just anytime after 5.
Anything after 5?
After 5. yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Are we looking somewhere close?
I'm sorry?
So on 23rd of September to October 16th, I'll be in Indonesia.
Okay, 23 to, so it would have to be before September 23rd. If possible, yeah. Okay, we will look into some potential dates. Thank you.
And right now, just Anna, for, I guess, the sake of at least my schedule, I have back to school night on the 20th of August. So that's a date that,
Yeah, you
cannot commit
you need
to.
to be there, yeah, okay. Perfect. Okay, just wanted to ensure that we are going to make things happen,
Thank you.
being responsive to your requests.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Item 20.1, other items by the Board of Trustees. Trustee Campos.
Kind of switching gears. So let me see, where do I start? First, you know what, let me start here because then I forget. And I did that last time. I want to thank M&O. So thank you guys for all that you guys are doing. I know summers are not fun. I know it's hot. You guys are grinding. Just everything that you guys are doing, thank you. Because I know that job sometimes can be thankless. I hope that you guys have all the water and hydration that you guys need. Because I know that's when the deep cleanings go on and all kinds of stuff take place. So thank you for that. I wanted to say that earlier and I forgot once. I think Tony or someone had mentioned, I was like, oh gosh. Also, I wanted to thank the board as well as John Hannon, because I think it's important that we've invested a lot in our security. And I think from the get-go, I think when we first came on board, I know that President Garcia had a concern with our security, and we've done a lot of things to manipulate the budget to increase the full-time and to have the security that we have. And I think the awesome part is, that was when we kind of, well, I can't speak, when I originally came on board, it was like one of the first things that we kind of tackled. I think it was a great decision. It was a great decision ultimately for our students, but not only our students, our parents, our teachers, everybody, our classified staff, everybody all the way around, because that is something that, I think everybody understands safety first. If kids, kids, teachers, everybody that's at a site, they don't feel safe, then obviously things kind of go sideways, and the learning and the teaching kind of don't take place like we would like it to. But I think with the scores and everything, I think that's a goal that we've been accomplishing. I think, going to Florida, looking at AI and looking at the weapon detection systems, I think that's awesome. I think that that also is probably going to be a local conversation, because I think every site probably has different, I know we've done the survey, that's been great. So I just want to let everybody know that, thank the board for investing in that, in our security team. Hopefully, we'll continue to get the training that we need to keep everybody safe. So that, I think, is a huge win. Another thing that I would like to put forward is a name change. I know that was something that we were looking at discussing, and it was going to be a question on the bond. But as you know, I oversee the city of Menifee and the two sites, Paloma and Liberty High School. And one of the things that is constantly coming up, is unification, all this other stuff. And, I've been having those conversations, and I'm trying to explain everything, the detriment that would cause. I don't think the general public understands the damage that'll do to everything. It's extremely important. And I think that, if we came up with a name that was either neutral, something new, or Paris Menifee, Union High School District, however we wanted to do it, because I think that a lot of the, I don't even know how to say it, the chatter, is that everything is concentrated in Paris up north. And that's not true. I understand that. You understand that. I think our staff understands that. But it's one of those things that I hear about it constantly. And it's one of those things where I think if we kind of include Menifee or decide to create a different name, then I think that would be something that kind of, but at the same time, let me back up, because that was probably, now I just thought about that. Removing Paris would probably not be a good idea because of the history, so I can acknowledge that. I understand that. But at the same time, now we serve Paris and Menifee, and grafting the two communities within the name, I think is just something that we should consider. And we can figure out how we're going to determine that and through other discussions and going from there. Another thing, I know that we've talked about, with the bond, we have all these different ideas of potential consolidation, upgrades to our sites, which I'm in total support of. I think we're very fortunate in the sense that we have a lot of assets that we can build and continue to do bigger and better things. Obviously, we're making great strides now. Maybe some little consolidation, a little tweaking here, a little tweaking there. It'll give us the opportunity to then use what we do have. Maybe we have some underutilized real estate positions, and that we're able to then, through our attorneys, kind of figure out what are our options. And one of them that keeps popping into my head right away, like immediately, is Panther Park. Panther Park, is costing us, if I recall, approximately $200,000 every year to maintain. 200,000 times 10 years, $2 million. And what do we have? We have a park. Don't get me wrong. It serves a community. I think it's great, but I think that there are other options that we need to look into to potentially generate income and bring income into the district. For example, so I guess what I would like to request is a request for quote to look at what are our options for Panther Park. Now, obviously, as the bond moves forward and we start looking at other sites, I think it gives us then the opportunity to kind of look at our assets and figure, hey, can we consolidate here? Can we do this? Can we do that? Because if we can open up or use or capitalize on our underutilized resources, I think it's only beneficial for the district. And, you know, we have different options. We can go through a lease, a sale, and a possible build, but that's something else. So I would just like to throw that out there, that we can look into that. I know that in the past, we've spoken with our attorneys, in particular, Serene, as to kind of what we have in the assets. And I know that we're trying to figure out, you know, some other properties that we have, and kind of understanding where, if we own it or not. I'm pretty sure we do, but it's just that's in the process, because I know that the email communication, Dr. Williams, has been good, and that has been very positive. I just would like to open the door to that so that we can start doing something intentional with Panther Park, as opposed to the continual cost of $200,000. And at this point, and again, I might be wrong, I just don't know if the return on that investment is serving our students the best possibly way that it could. So outside of that, have a great year, everyone. Thank you guys for all that you guys do. It'll be a great year, so.
Trustee Hall.
I just want to appreciate everybody coming out, staying out late with us. Back row, sorry you guys are out here so late. Still don't understand, but. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm getting, we all know the top of your heads. Right. You know, I didn't mention it earlier, but Mr. James, you know, thank you for helping out with that esports. I know you were, was that the esport class?
Yeah,
The diploma. E110, yes, there it is.
Yes.
Right, you know, brought that up and you just took off on it, so I appreciate you helping out with that. Yep. Yeah, doing a great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Trustee Stafford.
Keep it short. Thank you for being here tonight. That's all for me.
Trustee Anaya.
I just, items. I wanted to bring up, I would really love to see this year our board do a lot more community outreach. I brought up some ideas with each person individually, and that's been discussed, and I just wanted to make it out there so we can all kind of be on the same page. That security conference was awesome. I learned a lot. One thing that really stood out to me was there was one breakout session, and I forgot who hosted that breakout session, but he mentioned that our biggest security breach for students is at home with the cell phones. That really stood out to me, so I would love to have a lot more discussion on, he mentioned how teenagers that are going to drive have to take courses to learn how to drive, but kids that are given a phone are just given the phone with no education and no, not understanding how much damage it can do, and they kind of are given the world in one little device, and your child is more likely to encounter true danger at home with their phone than coming to school. So that was like a really big wow, and he gave a lot. So anyway, that's another discussion to have on, as a district, what we can do to give more education on the phones and how they can be tools, but they can also be weapons. So that was that. And then 18.1 on the action items, if we can just get Dr. Egan's in January, if we can get an update for that student and bring that back for discussion. And then happy birthday, Mr. Garcia. It was his birthday yesterday.
Thank you.
And he didn't mention it. So happy birthday. That was it.
Thank you.
Usually the vice president sings a song for the.
Yeah, that's true. Are you done? Thank you, Trustee Anaya. First, I want to thank HR for the goodies. Really appreciate that. That beautiful. It's amazing. Thank you. I want to thank. Actually, I'm going to say this, and I hope this comes out the right way. I want to thank the board for the dialogue, because Mr. Stafford made a comment earlier, says we could disagree, and you guys got to see it today. It might be entertaining, but for us, this is passion. But I could tell you right now, as soon as this is over, we're going to shake hands and we're going to keep moving forward because this is how we operate. We speak our piece and we move forward because we have to conduct business. I really appreciate you guys. So that's important. I too had some phenomenal training that on the conference we participated. And I want to connect with Mr. Hannon and then of course Dr. Rouse about the vaping situation. So there's some amazing training going on right now, and then Narcan as well. And we've had conversations about that. I found a resource where the product is free as long as they train the staff, and it's open to everybody. Also, it's open to churches, so if you guys know. But yeah, welcome back. Let's have a great new year. Let's do this. You guys are doing a great job. Phenomenal. James, we'll do it. We're going to blame you for something, okay? I know, I was just saying that. But thank you, everyone. Dr. Williams, thank you for everything. Deputy John, appreciate you. Everybody, like, yeah. And Dr. Rouse, again.
I just want to take this opportunity. Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. When you said, now you, Dr. Rouse.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Rouse.
Okay. I want to say something, and I already shared this with the board. But I'm so excited and happy because I had the opportunity to see the board interacting in a situation and listen to them, and they showed their heart for the students, all in each of them. So it's not, they are making very difficult decisions here, right? In terms of finances, HR, and things like that. But I want to say thank you. Thank you for having that commitment for our students and that heart to make a difference in their lives. I really appreciate it. I knew a couple of you that you have that, but learning that everybody is very uplifting. Is really, really important to me, and I know that the district is going to continue with that approach because you have, all and each of you, have the best interests of our students at heart. So thank you for that, and I'm telling you, the fact that I witnessed that, I said, I need to tell you, and I think I told you, but I wanted to say that to everybody, the whole community, that they know that they have an awesome board members, that they have their heart invested in our students. So thank you again.
Thank you. Moving on, item 21.2, adjournment, regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees for August 12, 2026. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Trustee Hall. Is there a second? Is that Mr. Campos? Any discussion? No discussion? All right, please vote. There we go. 21.1 passes 5-0. The time is 8:43 p.m. and we are adjourned.